So it's the 13th of August 2021, and this is the third of the series on the game of 25 or 15. Now, so when you win a round, that's a trick, and the trick is 5. They could have left it 1, but it's traditionally 5. So the first game comes round, the first round comes round, and I'm the dealer, and I win the trick, which says comes into me, and I win it. That means I am 5. I then have to play. Whoever wins the trick leads off. I then lead off, and that puts me at a disadvantage because I have to go right around the table and somebody can beat me, and if I'm high up you can be beaten. So you lead off whatever it is, and it goes round again, and whoever wins that gets 5, and they lead off, and then it plays again until all 5 cards are gone or until somebody wins. The old traditional game in Ireland, usually in the west of Ireland, was 25. You needed 5 tricks to win. You needed to win 5 rounds. In a lot of places, including the northeast, they tend to go for 15. 3 tricks is enough. So 3 tricks is enough. And so that game can go long. Now, if you had 10 playing, 25 is a lot of counting. Because 10 people with 5 tricks, it'll be 10 people with 4 tricks, 10, 4, 40. You have 40 tricks and nobody can still win. The next person to win has 5 tricks and they win. So you can have 41 tricks in a game with 10 people. And some people say that's too many and they go for the 15. They go for, instead of 25, they go for 10 trees, 30. So it'll be 10 twos, 20 it would be. So 21 then, if you get the next trick you win. So it would say there's 10 playing and all have 2 tricks, that's 10. The next person to win gets it. So there's 21 tricks as opposed to 41 with the 25. Do you understand that? It's a matter of personal choice. Then in some places for turkeys at Christmas they play 3 tricks, 3 different games of 15. So you have to win 3 games of 15, and then each table, the winner of each table plays off the other table for whoever wins the top prize. You understand that? So that's the game of 15 or 25. Now, there are variations of it, which I won't go into, but one of them is auction. And in auction, you deal in the very same way, but you put in your pot, and if it's auction 15, unless somebody wins the 15, all of the money is lost. The money stays there, and you play again. There's no carrying over the tricks from one game to another. So there's 1 round, 2 rounds, 3 rounds, 4 and 5, and nobody gets 15 or 25. Well, you usually wouldn't play 25. It's too long. You'd be going on for ages. 15. So nobody gets 15. The money stays. So we'll say you start off with €1. Nobody wins. You have 10 euros in the pot. You go again. You have 20 euros. Nobody wins. You go again. It's 30 euros. And you go on again. It's 40 euros. So it wouldn't really be €1. Normally you'd have 5 euros in at least. So you could have 200 euros very, very quickly on the table, and a lot of your money is in there. And that becomes a huge gambling game. Auction 15 is more of a gambling game than poker, but it's played the very same way. You try to stop. Everyone is out to stop whoever wins. Now in auction, and I may have forgotten to say this, and if I did, it was a mistake, but I'll go on with it anyway. When the cards are dealt out, no trump is turned at all. No trump is turned. There's another version of it where a trump is turned, but where the card, no trump is turned. And you bid on the pot. You could bid 1,000 to get the pot. If the pot was 200 and you had great cards, you can bid 1,000 on it, which is a lot of money, and you can name the trump. So if you had 3 guaranteed cards in your hand, you can name the trump. You understand that? So if you had the ace of heart, if you had these 3, you can't be beaten, and you wouldn't let it go. But some other fellow might have the same. So because of that, they don't normally allow a game where you name the trump. The trump is turned up. So you have to have good cards then. Otherwise, you have people with 2 sworn hands, and nobody can win. And it's whoever goes the most. It'll be who had the deepest pockets, really, who had the most money. But if you turn up the trump, then it's the very safe. If there's a trump turned up, the rules are the same as the ordinary 15. And if you have these, and it's a spade that's turned up, you'll be buying the pot because you can't be beaten. And the pot might be only 200 euros, but you can't let it go. You're guaranteed to win. You can't be beaten. So it could go 5,000 if you had a fellow that was stupid enough, who might have other good cards. He might have every other good card except these, but that's what can happen. So auction is a tough, hard game. For children or that, I don't recommend it. If you do play it for a penny. If you play auction, you have to experience it to understand this is much more demanding than poker, where the game is over after it's over. The auction goes on, could go on the whole night. You could have any amount of money in the pot. Now, just to explain auction again, there's the version where you don't turn up the trump, and that can end up with two people with sword in hands, means they're guaranteed to win, and that is not great. I don't recommend it. You have the version where you turn up the trump, and then you have a trump, and then it's up to each person to bid on the central pot. And as the pot builds up and nobody gets to it, you could get a lot of bidding, you can get a lot of money. But if you had that hand and spades was trump, you couldn't let it go, because if you have a lot of money in there, you're guaranteed to win. And so it's a very, very money demanding game. And a lot of the old people who are big into betting and into stocks and shares and investments and all, they all liked auction. Auction is a totally underrated game, but for youngsters I wouldn't recommend it, except maybe for a penny. It's a bit of fun. But go back to the old 15, then you can have your 3 tricks, and you can have 3 games of 3 tricks, or whatever you want. And you really want to have experience of it after that. There's not much more I can say. My recommendation is play it for a start as a trial. Put a penny on. Usually you need a penny or two. You need a 5 cents. I don't think there is a cent at the moment. Go a 5 cent or a 10 cent, and then you deal out your cards. And I've explained the order of the cards, the fit of trumps, the fingers, the knave, the ace of heart, the ace of trump, the king, the queen. After that, it's non-coloured cards. It's the more of red and the least of black. The 10 of diamonds is superior to the ace of diamonds, which is the worst hand in the pack if it's not trump. And the ace of spade is superior to the 10 of spade if it's not trump. The more red, the least of black. The dealer deals out. He turns up a trump. If you have the ace, you have to indicate it. You have to turn down some card. It can be the trump itself. If you turn up the trump and you're the dealer, you have to leave down something. You're entitled to rob the ace. You have the ace. So that's the robbing situation. And the next thing then is you play along. You have to follow suit. If it's a non-trump card, you have to play a non-trump, a non-trump. So if it's a diamond and it's not trump, you have to play a diamond. But if you have a trump, you don't have to. You can play the trump. And then the 5 fingers, knave, and ace of hearts are the cards you can renege of a lower value card. Essentially, the fingers is only called the fingers when it's trump. Otherwise, it's the 5. The knave is only the knave if he's trump. The ace of heart and the ace of trump. So you wouldn't be wasting time saying I have the ace of trump. You'd say I have the ace. So if you have the ace, I have the ace of heart. Ace of heart is just called the ace of heart. If you're the knave, I have the knave. Bare knave, I have the only knave. That means that's trump. If that's trump, trumps is trump. But you don't. If they're not trump, then it's simply the king, queen, knave, and then the various value cards under that. So that's easy enough. I think you have that relatively well explained, and this game has lasted for centuries. It's a very, very old game, and it's a very, very good game. And I used to get into terrible trouble when I started playing first. People would be making mistakes and that. So now you just have the rules. If you're youngsters, you can learn this off, and you can start off with the 15 for a start. It's not too hard to count. And sometimes when it gets to 25, it's hard to count. If you have 10 people and you have playing, and you have 10 with 3 tricks, that's 30 to remember. That's very difficult. What they usually do then is they get matches, and they put a match for each trick, so you can see what the score is, because when it gets high, it's very hard to do. But you're not allowed to put matches during the game. So if there has been game 1 and nobody wins, you can put matches after it. Game 2, you can put matches after it. Game 3, you can put matches after it. But you can't add matches during the game. You must remember who plays during the game. So if you're wondering there, number 4, what was he? He's 3 tricks. right? And you're playing 25, and he gets another trick. He's now one to go. He'll go. He'll win. So you have to remember that. You can't. He won't be putting a match up. You only can put matches up to remind you of the score up to this particular game. Understood? So with that, folks, give me a thumbs up, and if you have any questions to ask, I'll come back and do a video and I'll clarify whatever it is and get an idea of how to play this Irish game of 25 or 15. A card game in Ireland is just cards, and it's the same all over. I was in Tipperary, and the place is the very same as here. And if you're playing partners, by the way, and I just finished on this, all the difference is you must have an even number for two partners. You have a partner over there, and I'm a partner of you. You have the very same rules apply all around, except that I'll be trying to let you win and you'll be trying to let me win. So if I'm doing very well and I have 2 tricks, I have 10, and it's a 15 game and you have nothing, you'll be trying not to beat me. You don't beat your partner. You try and promote your partner. There's another concept known as prodding. That's where somebody leads an old diamond, spades is trump, and somebody jags in or sticks in the two a spade when they could play something else. They put in the 2 a spade. That's a prod. That means that the dealer or the person the trick is going into will need a better card to beat you. And old lads always believe the dealer should get a trick. There's no rule to that. The dealer doesn't have to get a trick, but generally speaking, he'd go into the dealer and he'd get his trick. He knows everything that's played before him. But if you stick him in with a trump, you're making it hard for him to get his dealer trick. There are times when you will have it, and there are times when you will prod it. In other words, supposing it's going right round and the dealer is about to go out, and you're afraid he's going to win, and you have it's the last round. It's in danger now of him going out. So it's the last round of the cards, and you have the 5 of trump. So you might hold it up, watch it, and the next thing is it comes to the last one. You play your 5, your fingers. He is the queen. He's beat. He can't win. So you'd prod him with the fingers, or if you thought there was danger, if you were just here beside him and he was going in and you suspected he had a good card, he's going to win the game, you would push in the fingers. You'd push in the fingers into him, and when he gets this in, he can't win. You then play a card, and the next time he plays this, it has to go right round the board. So he's exposed. He can't get a handy trick. He can't handily win. And the old thing about the game is you do not let people out simply. To keep it in was the principle. It's also to win, but you're supposed to try and keep the game as long as possible, and that makes sense, because if you don't and you let something out, you can't win in any event. Folks, that's it. So we'll see now whether we get any queries or whatever. I hope you like that, and we'll see you back for something else. And if you have questions, ask me them and I'll deal with them in another video or below, whatever. Okay, bye. See you.